Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice waiting for Gifford Briggs to call in and get him on here and talk about what's going on with the rigs and things of that nature. It's not pretty what's going on. But I do want to mention my good friends at Schumacher Homes, America's largest custom home builder, 3 locations, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Lafayette. But they can build a home anywhere in the state. Very easy to get to your area and build your home. You want somebody that really loves and has passion for what they do. And I'm telling you, Paul Schumacher has a lot of passion for what he does. And that's the way he demands and he gets people to go out and do the right thing by you. And that's to build you a beautiful custom home the way you want it. That's what you're looking for. Schumacher Homes is the place for you. They're a great Louisiana company right here. No two homes are alike. This is not some call them and everybody gets the same home. Call them. We're doing something that no, this is your custom homes. And they can explain the whole process. They'll give you a free, no obligation price quote that allows their customers to know and the total price of their home with no hidden costs. The guy that built my home works for him now. And he did a great job on my home. So I know you'll be in good shape. Schumacher Homes, SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. You need to talk to these folks before you build a home. Trust me, you owe it to yourself when you're making that kind of investment. Why not make an investment with people that know what they're doing, has been around for a long time? Schumacher Homes, folks, trust me, you'll be glad you got in touch with these folks. SchumacherHomes.com. All right, visit with Mr. Gifford Briggs, of course, a big top guy with the oil and gas industry. Gifford, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. All right. Inland water rigs count plummets to 0. What's going on?
Well, I know that some want to point to price, but we got $60 and Louisiana Light Sweet Crudes at 63. So, we've had plenty of activity in the inland waters in years past with that price point, and certainly some of the activity in the shale plays has taken some of the interest out. But the reality is we've got 6 parishes and district attorneys that have filed lawsuits of over 200 individual companies throughout all of South Louisiana. And, the message is pretty clear. If you want to drill in coastal waters, you're going to get sued, or there's a high likelihood that you're going to get sued. And companies have just taken it and said, we're not interested. And the sad part is that, there's a lot of companies and a lot of people who have made their living forever just working in Louisiana waters and just working in South Louisiana. And they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the capital and the experience and expertise to go, look at shale plays in Texas or, in the Haynesville Shale even. Their bread and butter is South Louisiana. And, once they can't drill in South Louisiana, there's not really a place for them to go. Not every company is a multinational. Not every company are large independents with assets all over the country. And these lawsuits are basically rendering them to the point where they can't do business anymore.
Yeah, and I think you touched upon it, Gifford Briggs, my special guest. Gifford, we were built over here. We had the big companies and the big names too. But in all fairness, what made us roll here was the small businesses, medium-sized businesses. And you had the big companies too, but, man, they really, really did a great job, and they were doing such a wonderful job, and everything was rolling well. And then all of a sudden the lawsuits start building up, and that's the problem. My question to you is, and people ask me this all the time, I'm hoping you can answer. People say, well, how come Texas is not getting sued that much? How come everybody's going to Texas and nothing's happening over there, but it happens here? Can you explain why it's so much better over there for the oil and gas industry right now?
Well, you got different rules and different regulations and different laws and different court systems and certainly, different tax structures. And, the legacy lawsuits that we've been dealing with since 2003 and these coastal lawsuits don't exist anywhere else in the United States or really anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
There are companies that I've talked to, that are multinational, and it's easier for them to go into countries that we consider, war-torn and dangerous, and than it is, to risk the financial capital that it costs it to drill and operate in South Louisiana. And look, we got good stuff going. We got the Austin Chalk, and we got, the Haynesville Shale, and that's all great. And Gulf of Mexico is doing well again. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a thriving South Louisiana oil and gas industry, and we shouldn't have a thriving Louisiana coastal oil and gas industry. If it's good enough everywhere else in the state and the prices are right everywhere else in the state, the prices should be right in South Louisiana. And the problem is that we just don't have just this rash of lawsuits that we've got in South Louisiana everywhere else in the state.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Gifford Briggs, my favorite, my special guest. Mr. Briggs, I talked to your daddy one time when Don came by. This was a few years ago, and he said that he had some investors from New York. It was actually two of them, two different times. And they were coming down here, and oil and gas was picking back up again, and they were coming down here to invest. And when they saw that our current governor was helping lawsuits, encouraging lawsuits in this business, they basically said not no, but boop, no, and they got out of here. And I think it's been like that ever since the governor came in. I'm not asking you to point finger at the governor, but he's not helped by any means helping us get back on our feet.
No, look, Bill, these lawsuits all started under the previous administration. So the current administration and look, they had an opportunity to come in and right the ship and be able to say, look, we don't want lawsuits. We don't want our oil and gas industry to be chased out of South Louisiana. We want them to continue investing. And look, South Louisiana and all these inland waters, most of that is all state-owned properties. Yeah. And so the state does the leases, they get the bonuses, the royalties, and the severance. So it's a huge win when we drill in these wells in South Louisiana. But instead, the administration hasn't taken that approach. And we've talked about it before, where a letter was sent out encouraging the remaining 14 parishes to hurry up and sue, or the state would. And look, that's not an oil and gas issue. That's any business that sees that. They're not going to choose to invest in an area or in a state where they see that sort of treatment coming. And look, we're seeing it with ITEP. We're seeing it with everything else. Yep.
Oh, no, we've got the anti-business governor, pro-lawyer governor. Some of the lawyers that are his biggest people, like Camus and all those guys that are doing most of the lawsuits, they're giving the money mostly to Edwards. I mean, the Camus law firm is giving almost $200,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. And now we see what's going on. It's very frustrating to the business community that we're fighting our own governor so we can have businesses here. And this business right here has been the backbone of this state for so long.
Well, I just saw a report that came out today and was posted on social media that showed that, the third quarter GDP of all of the states, in the United States. And, Louisiana's at 1.9% GDP growth, which, hey, there's growth. The problem is that we're in the bottom four of the entire country in GDP growth. And, the oil and gas industry has been a driver of our state's economy for so long. And if we're going to turn our backs on our industry the way that they have, and we're going to attack our industry the way that we're being attacked, we can expect to see that GDP growth number to be much smaller than the rest of the country. Our neighbors in Texas, we're tied with Mississippi and Alabama, and we're not moving forward. And maybe we're taking one step forward, and that's it. Where the rest of the country are taking leaps and bounds.
Well, they're running. Hey, they're running. They're running in that direction. We take a little baby step. I know what you're saying. And by the way, their running is bringing us that way, but not fast enough. And I'm really concerned about the industry. I got a number, and I don't know if you can verify this or not, but I've heard this several times just in the last week that just in the area I live in, Acadiana area, we got 35,000 people that work in Texas or somewhere else, but they call Louisiana home. They still live here. They still pay taxes. Does that number surprise you? You think it's that big?
Yeah, I don't even know how you begin to quantify it, but I can, KPEL did an entire story, or KATC did, and I'm trying to promote other stations, but they did a 6-part story on all of the people from Louisiana working out of state. Yeah. And, those are jobs that, hey, look, it's great that they're still Louisiana residents. It's great that they bring those revenues home, but wouldn't we rather them be spending their lunch money at Louisiana restaurants? Wouldn't we rather them be spending, their gas money at Louisiana gas stations as opposed to supporting Texas's economy? And we can't do that because they have to go where the work is. And people that have worked in South Louisiana for so long are having to find work somewhere else. And right now they're finding it in Texas. And, they're going to continue to head out that way. And until we give them an opportunity to be able to find gainful employment and find opportunity for growth here in Louisiana.
Yeah, let me take a quick break. Gifford Briggs, my special guest. Oil and gas is what we're talking about. One more segment to go with, and we'll let him get out of here. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. My special guest, Mr. Gifford Briggs, of course, head of Oil and Gas Association. And Gifford is talking about the problems and how to correct them. And yet, Gifford, it's a shame that what we saw just a few years ago, such a beautiful thing to see so many people working, and you go down to Highway 90 and all the jobs, all the signs said hiring, starting at X amount of dollars and 401ks and retirement and blah, 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 blah. And those have been replaced by lawyers. It's kind of frustrating for the people that know what this business meant to this state.
Well, I don't know if you're in South Louisiana alone, that US 90, I don't even know if you had opportunities to hire people if there would be a billboard available for you anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think the moment they come down, there's someone standing on a truck or someone showing something about offshore this or injury that, and so if you needed a billboard to talk about how you were hiring people and the great benefits of the industry, you couldn't get it because they're locked up indefinitely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I did have somebody call me today and said the goose that laid the golden egg for the trial lawyers and the money they've made may be all coming to an end in Louisiana, because if you don't have any oil and gas companies, what do you do next?
Right, and then look, I think that what people don't realize is look, the oil and gas jobs are important, and I'm certainly an advocate for those jobs. But the industry supports so much more.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the hunting and the fishing, but the dry cleaners and the restaurants and the schools and the property taxes that we pay. That if we continue to have to go to Texas to work, eventually that service company in Broussard, Louisiana, is going to have to move.
Well, yeah, and by the way, those
same thing they will if not.
Yeah, and those families that are working there where the daddy or the wife has had to leave for 2 or 3 weeks or a month at a time, why not move over there and you don't have to leave any? So that eventually will happen. My big concern is after you guys get done with you guys, they'll start on the chemical industry or the LNGs or the farmers. I mean, well, what else do you have after that?
No. Yeah, we are not the end of the rainbow by any stretch of the imagination. The lawsuits and the culture that we've got in Louisiana that allows for these, lawsuits, whether it's an auto insurance lawsuit or the oil and gas industry lawsuits or, the asbestos lawsuits and so forth and so on, they're going to continue to go from one industry to the next because that's how they grow. That's how they feed their families. And as long as there is fertile ground for lawyers to be able to find businesses that they can file suit against and get huge paydays from, they're going to continue to stay here and they're going to move from industry to industry.
No doubt about it. They got to have money. Got to have a lot of money coming in. These billboards cost a lot of money, and they just move to the next industry. I mean, when I say that, I'm not joking about that. I know that's what they're going to do. They have no choice. But in our state, a change of governorship, which I think is going to happen this year, I'm hoping the person that comes in is really friendly to all our businesses. We need a friendly business atmosphere here, and it starts with the oil and gas industry.
At the end of the day, the people of Louisiana only have to look in the mirror for where we are, and we've got an opportunity in 2019 to determine what kind of Louisiana we want to be.
Sure.
And sure, the governor's election is extremely important, but every election all the way, from the legislature all the way down to the city council and, the mayor or the president or the city parish president or the city parish mayor or whatever it is, all of those elections matter. And, we just had special elections and we had 10% turnout. And, you got 90% of the people staying home, not having their voice heard. It's going to make it very difficult to change the direction that our state is in.
Yeah, it's amazing for the president's election. We get a 66, 67% turnout, and the governor's raised less than 50, sometime in a runoff, not even 40. So I'm telling people right now, if you voted in the presidential election, you need to take that election to turn around and vote in this election with the same enthusiasm. I'm going to talk a little bit about that when you're gone, but we need to do that, and I just hope there's better days for oil and gas, and I hope it's not in Texas, because right now, that's where it's best. It's best in Texas, and I hate to say that. I like Texas. You like Texas, but we like to go there and visit, but we want to live here. We want it to be a beautiful place here.
Right. We want our families and people to be able to grow up and hunt and fish where we did. And the last thing we want to do is send our children away for college in the awful places like the University of Alabama or Texas A&M. I mean, we want to keep people here, and we want to have great universities here and great educational opportunities for them. You know, and look, it all comes down to elections, and it all comes down to electing people that want to have that same vision, you know, for a thriving oil and gas industry, a thriving business community, and we have the people, you know, have an opportunity to do that. And in 2019, and we built we redid our whole website. A big section of it talks about elections, and anyone can go to our website loga.la and click on elections, and you can see who's running and who's been endorsed. And it's the easiest way to find out, you know, what's going on.
Yeah. All righty. Appreciate it, Gifford. We'll do it again very soon.